Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head back to America. We're going to return to California, which is of course the home of craft beer, and we're having a taste of a beer from one of the, I guess you could say, pinnacle American craft breweries. And this one was actually a gift from Koji at Liquor Shop Asahiya here in Osaka in Japan. I do recommend that you check out his store if you get the chance, and I'll put the link to his Facebook page in the description below. If you're interested in Japanese craft beers, you can even just kind of watch the feed and see all the different things that are coming out, because he does have pretty much everything regularly. So for this one we are going to go to Sierraveza Brewing Company once again, who are from Chico in California, and we're having a taste of the Sierraveza. So this is one that they produced not too long ago, and this one is supposed to be you know, a sort of adjunct style lager beer. This, I think it's meant to be based on the Mexican lagers, and it uses sterling hops, which is a kind of almost noble type hop that I've not come across before as far as I know. So yeah, a really interesting one this, and I do like reviewing lagers every so often. It's a style I think that is a little bit kind of underrated. You know, if you go to Germany and try some of these Pils and Helles and things like that, they are very nice. So I'm very curious to see what Sierraveza are producing, because of course they are a very well respected brewery. So really looking forward to this one, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Sierraveza before. No doubt I will add some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the American beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, on to Sierraveza a little bit then. So Sierraveza was founded back in 1979 in Chico in California, when the founders Ken Grossman and Paul Camusi decided they wanted to expand their home brewing hobby into a fully fledged commercial brewery. So Ken had fallen in love with Chico while he was visiting some friends, and he eventually decided to open up a home brewing store there, and this was where he met Paul Camusi, and they started home brewing together. Together they actually built much of their own first set of equipment out of recycled dairy equipment, and then in 1983 they officially opened their portfolio with 3 different beers, and over the coming years they continually expanded it, and in 1987 they purchased the 20th Street plot, which has been the home of their brewery ever since, and their tap room opened a couple of years later in 1989. So Paul Camusi decided to retire in 1998, and he sold his share in the brewery to Ken Grossman, and he has remained in charge of the company since then. In 2008 they introduced their beer camp event, and since 2010 they've also had a partnership with the new Clairvaux Abbey in Northern California, where they've been producing different Trappist style beers as well. I really hope that I can try some of those at some point in the future, and I think there is talk of that abbey actually being, you know, taken into the Trappist Association, so I'm very curious to see how that goes actually. But they've also been credited by the Environmental Protection Agency in America, the EPA, as being one of the greenest companies around actually. You know, they run almost exclusively on renewable energy, and today they're producing around 1 million barrels of beer per year, and they've had the same brewmaster since 1983, when they were producing, you know, not you know, pretty much not a lot in comparison. But they've got 2 breweries now. One of them's in Mills River in North Carolina, and they've still got their original brewery in Chico in California as well. But they produce a whole host of different beers. They do still have their core range. You know, you've got the Torpedoes, you've got the Narwhal, you know, they've got the Pale Ale and things like that. There's some very good beers from these guys. The Bigfoot barley wine is, you know, considered as one of the kind of cult classics in that barley wine category. So, you know, Narwhal, Bigfoot, Torpedo, if you haven't tried those already, those are some of the kind of the classic American craft beers that you should really have a go at, and they're all pretty damn good, I have to say. So yeah, that's all you really need to know about Sierraveza for the moment. If you want to learn a little bit more, check out the brewery website. They're always producing experimental beers through this beer camp event that they do, which is really cool. It is cool to see that one of the kind of bigger craft breweries in America are still exporting, you know, are still, sorry, experimenting with a lot of different beers, and they also export quite a lot of them as well, which is very, very nice for us in different parts of the world. So yeah, as I said at the start of the video then, this one is a 5% lager beer. It's hop with Sterling, and you know, that's all there really is to say about this one. From what I gather, it's supposed to be based on the Mexican type lagers, and as I said, this was a present given to me by my good friend Koji at liquor store Asahia, and it says on the back here, inspired by the classic cervezas served ice cold by the beach, we created our own take on those easy drinking beers born south of the border. Sierraveza is a golden and crisp, with a well balanced malt flavour and a hit of floral hops that will have you calling out for another round. So yeah, nicely presented one this. Just let you have a little look at the artwork then, you can see it does have that kind of Mexican feel to it, even from the artwork. There you can see there's the little top label as well, and you can also see the typical Sierra Nevada bottle cap on this one. So yeah, let's get it out and we will get on with the tasting then. Nice little bit of smoke on the opening, and we'll get this guy out and into the glass. You can really, it really does, even when you open this up, it smells like a, you know, it does smell a little bit like a Corona or a Sol or something like that. It definitely smells like one of these Mexican lagers. And you know, it's one of these things, a lot of people will just, you know, say they don't like these things, but you know, I kind of have to admit, the Mexican lagers were ones that I really actually did quite appreciate. And then, forgetting what the other, Modelo is the other one that I always like. Negro Modelo is a lovely, lovely beer. But yeah, with this one, you can see it's poured a nice pale golden straw colour, which is pretty much exactly what you'd expect from a lager type beer. You've got a solid finger on this one of a, I would say, pretty much pure white head. I think the glass is steaming up a little bit, but this beer is pretty much crystal clear. There's a little bit, there is a little touch of haziness to it, I would say, but yeah, it is actually a pretty transparent beer, this one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. But overall, nothing surprising in terms of its appearance when you consider that this one is a lager beer. So yeah, let's get a look at the aroma and see how we get on with this one. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it smells, it's, obviously this one I think will be made with some better quality ingredients than the likes of Sol and Corona, and I'm forgetting some of the other ones now that you get. Pacifico Clara I think is another one that comes to mind. And there's probably others there. I think there's a beer called Tecate as well, named after the city. But yeah, this one, it really does kind of smell along the same lines of these beers. You've got a nice little bit of a kind of pale malt to it. You've definitely got that Pilsner malt in there. I would be guessing they've used a bit of German Pilsner malt, unless there is actually a specific Mexican type of malt that they'll use in these beers. But yeah, it really does smell quite nice, this one. A little bit of a biscuity sweetness in there, a little bit of that typical kind of corny type thing as well. But yeah, it smells nice, you know, a nice little bit of earthiness to it, just a little tiny sweet earthiness. Some nice fresh grassy and floral qualities, and a little bit of that kind of typical lemony citrus. I do think I actually have the page open where I can tell you the malt base in this one. So the malt base in this one is C15, Steffi Pilsner, and also Grits as well. I've only heard of Steffi Pilsner malts actually, I've never heard of the C15. So yeah, with this one then, as I say, 5% ABV. Let's have a taste of it and see how we get on. It really does remind me of like Pacifico Clara, Modelo, you know, Sol. You know, it really reminds, and Corona's the other one I guess as well that really comes to mind. So yeah, let's go into this one and just see how we get on. So this one is the Sierraveza, a Mexican type lager beer from Sierra Nevada in Chico in California. Let's get stuck in. Slanja, Skull, Kampai, since we're in Japan. Yeah, I mean, pretty much exactly. It just feels a little bit, it's got a little bit more of a kind of hoppy bite to it, I would say, than some of the other Mexican lagers that I've come across. You know, it's got the malt base is really well done. It really is pretty much just a kind of upscaled mimic of these beers. This is a nice one, this, and it's kind of cool to see that a brewery really famed for its big hoppy beasts of beers are trying something like this. You know, it's one way to try and get people thinking about, oh, let's try beers from different breweries, and you know, that's what it's all about as well. Yeah, so with this one, again, it's pretty much what you'd expect. You get this nice, slightly pale malty bready quality, just blanket in the middle of your tongue. On top of that, you've got a nice kind of slightly biscuity, corny sweetness coming out of the beer. And in the centre of the palate, there's maybe a teeny little touch of a kind of slightly sweeter thing. It really reminds me of you know, McVitie's digestive biscuits. That's what the malt base in this one really reminds me about. But the further into the aftertaste you go, you start to get a little bit more of the kind of corny sweetness out of this one, which is nice. Yeah, definitely has that sort of corny, oily, corny sweetness comes out of this one. The further it, you know, it comes out more the further you go into the aftertaste for this one. I do apologise, my throat is still kind of clearing up a little bit from a cough that I've had. I think the air in Osaka is just a little bit dry, or maybe it was during the Tokyo trip that I picked this up. But yeah, it's a really nice kind of easygoing lager beer, this one, which is exactly what they'd said it would be, you know. Pretty much you can read the label of this one and you'll have a good idea of what this beer is going to be all about. And it's nice to see, as I say, one of the big boys in the American craft scene having a go at something like this. It's, you know, it's a nice kind of easy drinking beach beer. I would like to see more breweries trying different things with pilsners and pilsens and even the Helles. It'd be cool to see some of the breweries doing the German Helles and the Dunkels and the Schwarz beers and having a go at the Czech lagers as well. You know, the Czechs have got the Svetlis, the Lexaks, the Chernies, and also the Tomavis as well. There's a whole, the Czech beers basically are all lager beers, and they're really nice. So it's cool to see, as I say, an American brewery having a go at this, and I'd love to see that a little bit more. But yeah, this one it does come across really, really nicely. Just a very nice, easy drinking pilsner, as you'd expect. In the back corners of the palate, you've got a little bit of a slightly earthy note to it. When you come further forward, it gets a little bit more floral and aromatic, and then round the very front curve of the tongue, it's just a little bit lighter and grassy sort of thing. Then behind the front curve of the palate, you've got a nice little bit of that oily bubble where the juicy fruity esters start to come out. It's got a little bit of that typical kind of grassy, lemony sort of citrus to it. There's nothing surprising about this beer, pardon me, when you read about what it's actually meant to be, but it's just done very, very well, and it seems it's almost just like a little bit of a kind of step up. It's almost like you know, you're getting one of these kind of beers, but you're getting it done with a slightly better brewing condition, if you like, or a brewing technique and better ingredients and stuff in it. That's basically what I think the kind of principle or the idea behind this beer is. So I'll give Sierra Nevada a thumbs up for trying this. I'd love to see them have a go at the likes of, you know, a Munich Helles or a Dunkel beer. I don't think I've ever seen a Doppelbock or anything like that from Sierra Nevada. I'd love to see some of the craft breweries in America having a go at these, you know, the German styles, the Dunkels, the Doppelbocks, the Helles, the Rauch beers even as well, and then having a go at some of the Czech lagers like the Svetlis, the Letsaks, the Tomavis and the Chernies and stuff. It'd be really cool to see that over the next little while. So maybe this is the start of something interesting from Sierra Nevada. I'd love to see that kind of come out a little bit more. But yeah, in terms of the mouthfeel then, very, very light bodied beer. Carbonation with this one does have that little bit of crispness to it, does have a little bit of a prickle. The mouthfeel overall is quite a wet one with this, and it's wet and crisp. I think that's probably a good way to summarise it. Nice little bit of hoppy bitterness to the beer. I'd guess it's somewhere around, you know, the 30, sort of 40 IBU mark, something a little bit like that. It does have a little bit more of a hoppy bite to it than some of the beers that you're going to get from Mexico. I think there is just a little touch more bitterness in there, but the malt base has that nice smoothness. As I was saying earlier, it kind of grows a little bit forward, it comes out a little bit more sweetly later on, and you've also got a nice little bit of a kind of lemony citrus quality to this one for a bit of fruitiness as well. But overall, very, very nice beer. If you're used to if you do like having a kind of Sol or a Corona or something like that every so often, then have a think about trying this one. You know, it's, as I say, it's a little bit of a step up from those. It's got better ingredients, and I'm sure it's brewed with a slightly kind of you know, basically a slightly more refined brewing process or something like that. Although that said, you know, brewing on the big scale is a completely different kettle of fish from brewing on the little scale like this, so maybe it's not quite fair to say that. But yeah, really interesting one this, and it's cool to see Sierra Nevada experiment a little bit with kind of classic beer styles, I feel like. So as I say, I hope they do that with the Czech and the German beers at some point. That would be a very cool experiment for these guys to try. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. So this one was the Sierra, how do we pronounce pronounce this again, the Sierraveza from Sierra Nevada Brewing Company in Chico in California, and it's been really nice to have a go at something a little bit different from these guys. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this one in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Sierra Nevada as well, and I'm sure I'll return to these guys at some point in the fairly near future because they're always introducing different things. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Sláinte, skål, kampai, have a go at this beer if you like your Mexican lagers. Sláinte, skål, kampai once again.